So the latest version of iOS just had this really cool ability where you could send a message later, which is awesome because I always forget to send things like happy birthday and other things like that. So then I'm excited for it. I want to use it. And it got me thinking, I built a lot of chat applications. How hard could it be to send a message later on in the future? Let's take a look. So over here in this Excalibur application, we're going to be like, hey, hi, how are you? But then you have this requirement. The requirement is like, we have the ability to send, but I want to send later on. How are we going to do that? What I would do is take advantage of some AWS services, right? The first one is going to be EventBridge Scheduler. We'll kind of get you right here in the mix. And then if I think about it for a second, I have all the logic that I need to send a message right now. Everything is already there. I just want to take that exact same logic, which is probably in a function, and schedule it for a later time. So what I'm going to do is just say, hey, function, I'm going to have you get called later on. And that's the whole job of an EventBridge scheduler that we can set up. Now, I think that's where a lot of people get confused is that EventBridge scheduler, all it does is says at a later time, I'm going to do something. That whole schedule and something is completely decoupled. And if you use like a scheduled SaaS application, all you can really do is schedule your function for a later time. This isn't that. This can be almost anything. It just so happens to be a Lambda function in this case. This is a schedule. I'm going to do whatever it is you tell me to do. The thing that I'm telling it to do is just call this function. Okay, so we have this. And then now with this in place, we can say, yeah, go ahead and call this. This is going to be, right, send later. And now we have all the logic we need. To make this a little bit more concrete, let me head over to V0 real quick. I have this open in full screen. And currently I can say things like, hi, how are you? And send that. And that works perfectly fine. I can toggle to the second user. I'm good. What's up? And now when I hit enter, I can see the messages back and forth. What I want to do is have the ability to schedule this at a later time. I'm going to hit the send later button and then schedule this how I want it to be set. Now, there are a million ways to build out a chat application. I have videos and tutorials on how to build out a regular chat application that'll suit a lot of your needs. No big deal there. Again, we're focusing on the scheduling. And the first question you might be asking is, why are we using EventBridge Scheduler at all? Because it's super sexy. That's why. What do I mean by that? Let's take a look. If we go over to the pricing page, we can see that we end up getting, what is it here? If we go down to scheduler, all right, check this out. Cause I think some of you don't believe me when I say this is really attractive. It has a free tier, and in the free tier, you get 14 million invocations for free every single month. What do you pay after that? You pay $1 for every million invocations after that. Okay, so the pricing becomes very attractive if you have a SaaS that is focused on future dated messages, and it's pretty much free if you have anything else outside of that. Okay, so let's look at the code to create the scheduler. Make sure that it has the permission, one, to be called, and then two, the permissions to call whatever it is that is calling, in this case, a Lambda function. What does that look like? Fortunately, I have a GitHub repo for all of you lovely folks. So I'm going to head over here, and remember, the first thing is we have to give something permission to call this scheduler, right? So if I come over to this amplified directory, I have a backend section right here. And sure enough, all I'm doing is just saying my API has the ability to create this EventBridge scheduler. Super simple. It's a quick little one-liner, right? Create the schedule. Awesome. Now keep in mind, this scheduler can call anything, and it needs to know what roles it has the ability to do. The role in this case is just call a Lambda function. In particular, call my Lambda function that I have set up. So here we go. We have that set up right here. Everything is good to go. Now, all of that is just permissions. What does the code look like to create the scheduler? Spoiler alert, it's super simple. It's effectively a JSON payload where I'm going to return the path where this scheduler has a title, something like my message to wife. And then I fill out the body with all the details that I'll need. Effectively, how this reads is when you get done, go ahead and delete the scheduler. Don't keep it around. This is when I want you to be scheduled at this delivery date. The time zone, it could be my time zone. It could be the time zone of the user. Really cool stuff. An item potency key, randomly generated. And then here's where things get interesting. This flexible time window means let the service dictate when this is going to run. If I say I want this message at 7:05, with flexible mode off, it's going to run at 7:05. If I give it a flexible time window, it will automatically scale out all of these messages within that time flow. Say it's a 5-minute time flow, right? The beauty of that is that I don't have my backend systems being flooded at 7:05. The service itself will make sure that they're properly allocated and dispersed within a certain time window. And then lastly, we have the target. What is the thing that you want me to call when this time comes available? In my case, it's just this lambda function. And again, we already talked about how do you set that up, and I'm passing in all the details that matter. Giving the message, I'm going to look this up in a database and then also giving the user's email. I believe for this application, it was like a dentist app. So both of those things make sense because I'm going to email the user their message of the dental reminder in this case. That's it. I think we're making some of this stuff too complicated, and it really doesn't have to be.